inside the hollow of the guava tree. Oh, for goodness sake, a voice chastised. Not again, it continued. It's never quiet in Wilberforce anymore, it moaned. Margaret tossed a skipping rope on the brown gravel and looked around furtively. First, she turned to stare behind her at her house, where her toys lay scattered on the veranda floor, and the wind was blowing the beaded curtain that shielded the view of the living room when the front door was opened from prying eyes of passers-by on Regent Road. She could not see anyone. Her sister Adama had gone back inside as it was past 6 o'clock, and the mom had yelled to come inside for dinner. Margaret had ignored her mum. She was 8 and beginning to develop her own independence, and only went in after her mother had called her 3 times. If it's not the noise from cars going by, it's children playing, or teenagers talking on their phones. You can get a bit of rest. Margaret froze, then rotated a full 360 degrees to stare wide-eyed at the guava tree in the far end of the compound. She realized that the high-pitched voice was coming from that direction. Margaret quietly tiptoed barefoot towards the old stark tree with multiple branches stretching out above the roof of the single-story bungalow. She leaned forward, cupped both sides of her face with her hands, and peered deep into a hole in the stem of the tree. The feminine voice continued, "Now you've woken up my child, inquisitive girl. When you're not skipping and playing hopscotch with your older sister, you're singing songs loudly." Margaret jumped back in shock, mouth open. A chirping sound was followed by a green insect crawling out from the hole in the stem that went all the way down to the tree roots. Margaret watched in amazement as the green insect wedged its way out from the dense bark and flew towards her. 2 oval eyes looked at her disdainfully. "Well, at least say hello," the praying mantis rebuked. "I hear your mum, Mrs. Touré, reminding you to greet elders all the time," said the praying mantis, shaking its head that looked too big for its slender throat. "You speak?" Margaret questioned in disbelief. "Huh? Of course I speak," retorted the praying mantis. "All praying mantises can talk. Some just blatantly refuse to interact with humans." It gestured towards the bottom of the tree and went, "You're just outside my house. You might as well come in and have a cup of rice pap. I made too much for my daughter, and you could have some." The praying mantis dropped back into the bottom of the tree. Margaret was about to embark on a lengthy explanation about how children could not fit into tiny holes in trees when she felt herself rising off the ground and floating, feet inches off of it. Margaret hurriedly grabbed hold of a nearby low-hanging branch of the guava tree. As she was magically lifted into the air, she found herself pushing her slender body into the cavity and plunging down into the inside of the tree. She tried to take in her environment. A whole miniature world emerged into view. An embellished glass house, tiny glass furniture, and a glittery door with a shiny steel handle. The praying mantis was by now holding it open, smiling. Come in, little girl. This is my humble home. Humble? Anything but, Marietta thought. Marietta Tree had none of the flashy decorations or pricey furniture in the insect's house. She quavered, voice quivering. Can you afford all this? The praying mantis let out a crackle, moving its skinny arms around frantically. Insects work hard, my dear. All insects work harder than people. At that moment, a tiny voice squeaked, Mom, who are you talking to? A baby praying mantis appeared from an adjoining corridor and stopped in its tracks when it saw Marietta. Mom, she shouted, voice breaking. Dad has said we mustn't ever invite humans over. More insects die at the hands of humans than from natural causes. Marietta was gobsmacked. Here was this miniature creature, with better manners than her, admonishing its mom and reminding it what its dad had said. Marietta hesitantly crept forward, looking around in awe. You may sit down then, small human person, offhandedly spat out with a hint of venom by the praying mantis's daughter, saying you're already in. Marietta approached a glass chair embellished with translucent crystals in the living room and perched on the edge of the padded cushion, frightened she might get the furniture dirty. She'd been playing in the muddy soil in the backyard. Girl, Marietta corrected the insect's daughter. I'm known as a girl, not a small human. The praying mantis chuckled as he listened to the exchange between its child and Marietta. Marietta, meet Featherweight, my daughter. She's itchies too, like yourself. Marietta stared at this insect that appeared to know everything about her. Was it psychic? How could it be so insightful? Who told you my age? Marietta questioned, nerves showing through her voice. Oh, don't worry about that, little girl, said the praying mantis dismissively. I've lived in this guava tree for decades, even before your dad, Mr. Tree, bought this house in the military barracks in Wilberforce, explained the insect as he walked up towards the door leading into another part of the house. In fact, if it wasn't for the noise you and your sister Adama make the whole time, playing hopscotch and skipping endlessly, I wouldn't have ever considered moving away. She flitted off into another room, her voice trailing off. Marietta was left speechless once more, and an awkward silence fell as she glanced in embarrassment at Featherweight, the praying mantis's daughter. Don't mind my mom, said Featherweight nicely. She tells everyone off, even small humans. Girl, Marietta retorted, having found her voice. Or just call me Marietta. Okay, Marietta, Featherweight replied, smiling. It would be nice to have other girls in Wilberforce Barracks to play with, actually. Marietta beamed, thinking about how her older sister, Adama, would be stunned to hear about the family in the guava tree. Adama might never believe her, Marietta thought. Here, the praying mantis had returned, and was offering Marietta a cup of rice pap. Homemade too, she reassured Marietta. I don't know about your mother, Mrs. Touré, but I never buy rice pap from the market. I make all my beverages myself. She bluffed. Marietta nodded wordlessly. She liked rice pap, especially the ones her mother cooked for prayer feasts at the end of Ramadan. Sipping it graciously so as to impress the insect's family with her manners, Marietta was still wondering about the praying mantis and how her sister Adama would react later. You can come over to play with Featherweight whenever you wish, the praying mantis added, moving its arms and pointing towards her daughter. Wouldn't that be nice, Featherweight? Its daughter's broad smile lit up its tiny face. Marietta noticed for the first time how pretty the little insect was. Angelic magenta oval eyes that took up half its triangular face. Lime green arms and legs protruding from a gala cotton dress. What a nice family, Marietta thought. She finished off the rice pap and carefully placed the empty plastic cup on an adjacent glossy marble table. Her eyes suddenly fell on a gigantic cuckoo clock on the wall of the insect's living room. Marietta let out a yelp. Oh my goodness, I've got to go. She realized what time it was. 6:30. Her mom, Mrs. Touré, had warned Marietta that she had to be back indoors for tea time. Have you, little princess? The praying mantis gave her a quizzical look. Well, do stop over any time and bring your sister with you. It glided towards the front door and ushered Marietta out, smiling warmly. Marietta was again going to inquire how she would get back out of the guava tree when she was levitated from the floor into the air, a magical breeze propelling her up into the tree stem. As she could see in the distance the circular hole in the guava tree through which she had entered. Marietta stretched out her slender arms and, holding the lower part of the hole, heaved herself up and popped her head out of the cavity, effortlessly slipping back onto the ground. Oh! Gasped Marietta. She was back in her compound. As at that precise moment, her big sister Adama darted into the veranda, calling out Marietta's name. There you are, Marietta. Mom's asked me to come and fetch you. The rice and potato leaves dish is going cold, Adama admonished. She was 10 and very bossy. Marietta walked towards her and blotted out. Adama, there's another family living in the guava tree. Adama snorted in disgust, giving Marietta a weird look. Of course there's another family living in the guava tree, is there? You make up a lot of stories when you're hungry. Come in and have something to eat. The invisible family might then disappear. To be continued. Thanks for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wote. Alaji kiwi miao. Nyami ago piabo. Yongo go ti mi age ko mago jewani. Nyalo Nyaloli mafiji unyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatrega gapama, nyanga takbaji konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke tele ganyama. Namya na wifuile ni nyama. Kego wake nema, gege devehema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa pebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma, komo bwejiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ye hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Ye aguli vele gondange we, kolo go menjima. Ye konga lona, wote, alajiki wimya o. Nyami ago piabo, yongogo timi age komago jewani. Nyaloli mafiji unyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatrega gapama, nyanga takbaji konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke tele ganyama. Namya na wifuile ni nyama. Kego wake nema, gege devehema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa pebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma komo bwejiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ye hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Ye aguli vele gondange we, kolo go menjima. Wote, alajiki wimya o, nyami ago piabo. Yongogo timi age komago jewani. Nyaloli mafiji unyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatrega gapama, nyanga takbaji konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke tele ganyama. Namya na wifuile ni nyama. Kego wake nema, gege devehema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa pebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma komo bwejiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ye hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Ye aguli vele gondange we, kolo go menjima. Ye konga lona ye nyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatrega gapama, nyanga takbaji konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke tele ganyama. Namya na wifuile ni nyama. Kego wake nema, gege devehema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa pebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma komo bwejiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ye hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Ye aguli vele gondange we, kolo go menjima. Ngogo timi age komago jewani. Nyaloli mafiji unyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatrega gapama, nyanga takbaji konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke tele ganyama. Namya na wifuile ni nyama. Kego wake nema, gege devehema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa pebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma komo bwejiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ye hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, nyaloli mafiji unyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatrega gapama, nyanga takbaji konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke tele ganyama. Namya na wifuile ni nyama. Kego wake nema, gege devehema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa pebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma komo bwejiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ye hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Hai memya, ge hai ya memi. Nyande mede hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma veli hai. Nyaloli mafiji unyali binyani gwe nyama. Gatwega gapama, nyanga takbaji, konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke telega nyama. Namia na wifu ile ni nyama. Kego wa kenema, gego devema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa bebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma, komo bojiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ya hai memia, ya memi. Nyalo le mafiji, unyali binyani kwe nyama. Gatwega gapama, nyanga takbaji, konga tapokula nyama. Sele gufoni, tabla siakbeke telega nyama. Namia na wifu ile ni nyama. Kego wa kenema, gego devema, kego guadu mama. Sele pidi weni, kemujo kwa bebu. Nyao ga ufede vagoma, komo bojiwe na. Kenya punya mwenga ya hai memia, ya memi. Nyande mege hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma gele hai. Hai memia, ya memi. Nyande mege hai wo, dole la hai ma o, ya hai ma gele hai. Ya goli vele gondang ya we, kolo go meji.